Hey, it's Mike here, and here is the very basics for creating a 3D Vista virtual tour. I've opened up my 3D Vista virtual tour program, and you'll notice I have this new project link here. And I'm going to click on the little plus to make a new project. And it's going to give me the option to select a skin and to select a style. I'm going to choose the mini skin, and that's going to already set my style and type, and I'll say, okay, that's fine. And I'll say select. So now I'm going to import a panorama, and now I'll just choose a standard panorama. So now I'll have to find my panoramas. So I've downloaded some panoramas in advance, so let me just go ahead and find a couple of these. So let's see what I have here. I've got a nice JPEG of William and Mary from Drone, and I'll do this Stalingrad motherland image. Great. So I'll grab both of these and I'll open them. So I've got those both up, and now you'll see I have tabs at the top: My Tours, Skin, Panoramas, Photos, Videos, blah, 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 and Project. And every time I choose one of these tabs, then the tabs underneath will change. So under Project, you can move the files around. You can say, okay, let's say I wanted Stalingrad Motherland to be the first thing. I can move that, but I want William and Mary to be the first thing. So I can also give it a project name. So let me title it. I don't want it to be called Untitled. I want it to be called Tutorial. Right. And now you'll notice that I have all of these global settings, and you can take a look at all the different global settings that you have. None of these are really going to be important for right now, but later on they might be. So I'm going to go ahead, and the first thing I'll do is choose Panoramas from the top tab. So if I highlight a panorama, you'll see that I have all of the options, the panorama settings. And right now it's under List. I'm going to choose both of these panoramas. And the first thing I like to do when I've chosen the panoramas at the very beginning is under Panorama Settings, under List, I mark Play as Loop. I uncheck that box because otherwise it's going to start spinning and it's going to make people nauseated. So first thing, anytime that you add a panorama, make sure you uncheck that Play as Loop under the autoplay settings. Once that's done, we can go to Settings. And now we can actually take a look and see what each of the panoramas looks like. And this is going to be, if you wanted to have actions for the individual panoramas. That's one thing that you can do here that's important, is to set the view as initial point. So let's say I wanted this view to be the initial starting point. I'll find what view I want, and I'll say set view as initial point. And let's say I go to William and Mary, and let's say I want that the sunken garden to be the initial point. So I can hit set view as initial point for William and Mary. So everything is ready, and now I can go to hotspots. So I'll go to panoramas and hotspots. Here's where most of the stuff that you're going to be doing happens. So you'll notice that I have my William and Mary panorama. To add a hotspot, there are a number of ways you can do it. Let's say I wanted to make this Stalingrad motherland hotspot somewhere in the sky. So I can move the panorama, the panorama up to where I want, and I can just drag and drop. So I'm clicking, holding, and dragging, and you'll see this plus, and then I'll pop that down. So you'll see create return hotspot. That's what I want. Usually I want to go back to the hotspot that I came from. And now I can add an icon from the library to be the icon for that hotspot. I'll click on the little checkerboard. And now I can either choose a hotspot that I would like, or I can choose an image that is not in the library. If I wanted to insert a new element, I could do that. So I'll go to Insert New Element. And I can find something cool like an image of the Stalingrad motherland statue. So I'll hit Open. And now it's going to ask me where I would like the entry point to be. And I'd like it to be right there. I'm going to hover my little blue dot over that, and I'll say Add. So now you'll notice that motherland statue sculpture is there. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger, and I'll move it a little bit over to the side. So that's one way to add a hotspot. There are other ways to add a hotspot. I can add a text hotspot. So let's say I wanted people to know what this was. I'll click text. I'll click where I want that text hotspot. And now I can go down on my right-hand side with all of my menu items, text, and I can say Stalingrad. And now I can start to stretch that out. I can move that around. And then I can also change the size. So I can change it from 20 to whatever size I want. I can have background, some shadow in the back to make it easier to read. I can change the angle. I can change the blur so that it's darker, so on and so forth. And I can also give it a tooltip. I'm not going to give it a tooltip, but that's if you hover over something, the tooltip will pop up. So I've got that where I want it, but now I need to give that also a place to go. So let's do that. You'll notice that I have text here, and I've got that go to Stalingrad Motherland. And when I go to Stalingrad Motherland, that's this image, and it already has an action, open panorama, Stalingrad Motherland. But when I go to text, there's no action because that was something that I just added from the top menu. To add the action, I would hit the plus under actions and have all of these options. I can open a panorama, and we're going to be doing a lot of these things as we go, but I'm just going to open the panorama for now. And I'm going to choose the Stalingrad Motherland, select, and now I will go ahead, and you know where it says Smart Entry View? I'll pull down and I'll say Custom. And now you get that dot again, and now you can choose exactly where you want that entry view to start. And I'll say Done. Now they'll both open in exactly the same place. Now we have to have that return view. So let's go to the Stalingrad Motherland. And you'll notice that it created that hotspot of the Stalingrad Motherland, and it's kind of weird to have that Stalingrad Motherland be the return hotspot. I don't want that. I'd like maybe William and Mary to be the return hotspot. And I don't want it to be right in front of the statue, so let's put it up in the sky there. So I can choose that, and I can change the icon. So if I go to Library Settings, that little gear, you'll notice I can open the library to replace the item. I can save the item to my library, or I can export the item to share with another PC. But I'm going to open the library to replace the item. And that's when I'll go ahead and choose Insert New Element. And I've got one here of William and Mary. Nice. So I'll just go ahead and hit Open, and it replaces that one. I can make it a little bigger if I like. And now I can also add some text. So if I were going to add some text, I could just hit Text. Choose where I want that text, and now I'll add the text, double William and Mary, and stretch that out so I can read the whole thing, move that where I need it to be, and it's not attached to anything, as you remember. There's no actions associated with it. It looks a little weird here. It's hard to read in the clouds, so let's say I wanted to change the color to make it easier to read. So I can change it maybe to yellow. We'll go ahead and make that yellow. And I'll go ahead and add an action. So I'll go to Add Action. I'll open a panorama. I'll choose that William and Mary. I'll say Select. I'll choose where I would like that to go. It can go to a different place than the original one, which was on the sunken garden, or it can go to the sunken garden. So let's say I wanted it to go back to the sunken garden. I can choose that, and I'll say Done. That's how you'd go about adding all the hotspots. There are other hotspots that you can add. You'll learn about those, but you can add an image like that. You can add a video hotspot, which would play a video, and you can add a web frame as well. You can also add polygons, which are nice. So now that I'm done, I want to check and see my work. I'm going to, first of all, save it. File, Save. It'll save the project. And then I'll hit Preview down here. And now it'll publish all the media elements. It could take some time depending on how large your file is. And then once it's done, you will get this 3dVista Tour Viewer pop up. It might take a while, so be patient. And once it opens, you'll see you have this weird little menu that you can go through, but I'm going to go ahead and go to full screen. That's that button there. And I'm going to minimize the menu, remove the menu. So here I've got that view of William and Mary. And you'll see I've got this Stalingrad hot link. And I can click on that. And it'll bring me to Stalingrad. And you'll notice it didn't take me to the right place. And I'm thinking, why didn't it take me to the right place? So now we might have to fix that. And now I'll go to William and Mary. And it also didn't take me to the right place. So we'll have to fix that as well. So let's go ahead and see how we can fix that. Let me click on the Stalingrad text and see where it takes me. So the Stalingrad text takes me to the right place, but the Stalingrad image does not. So now we can fix that. So I'm going to hit escape. And I'll close that window. And we'll go back to the program and we'll figure it out. So we go back to William and Mary. We go back to Stalingrad image. And now what we can do is we can double click on that open panorama on the right-hand side. And now we'll see, oh, it has Smart View Entry Dynamic. We didn't do a custom for that one, so I'll click Custom. And now I'll put it right on that statue, and I'll say Done. And I can do the same thing for the link back to William and Mary. So I will click on that image of William and Mary, double click on the open panorama, go to Custom Fix, and now I can choose the sunken garden, and I'll say Done. And now just for the heck of it, I'll click on William and Mary up here, and I'll double click on it. And that one, you'll notice it's already custom, and there's the link. Done. I'll save it. Make sure you save it. And now I'll preview it again. Okay, so hopefully now I'm going to go ahead and make this full screen. I'm going to get rid of the window here. And if I scroll up, we see Stalingrad here. If I click on Stalingrad, now it takes us right to the statue. And if I go back to William and Mary, it takes us right back to the sunken garden. And there's the Stalingrad image. So go ahead and practice that, and we'll have our next tutorial coming up.